quote. It says, "Fur is very beautiful on the animals that wear it and very ugly on people, or worn by very ugly people."
Right. Well, they don't wear it. It's just their skin. It's like if they took my skin, they're like, Justina's skin is really great when she wears it, but even better on you. Discounted 10% off. It's like, that's pretty fucking weird. Let's not do that. I know this is the second time we talked about using my skin, but
I know, you do have nice skin, so.
stop
can see
saying
why.
that.
I know.
I'm just kidding.
We can't turn you into a fur coat. You're not
Please
hairy
don't.
enough.
Yeah, thank God.
You're not hairy enough. I just started getting laser, thank God, on
It's
my
okay.
legs.
It's like the leather, right?
Yeah,
It wouldn't be fur. It would be like leather.
We could turn you into leather, and we could maybe make some type of jacket out of my leg hair.
Listen, we can do a lot of things, but that doesn't mean that we should. That's the whole point.
Thank you. That's a great point. So we're looking at these industries now using all these terms that are trying to make themselves sustainable. And again, it is the fur industry trying to push a product that has sort of made its way out because it's been socially unacceptable for so long.
Right.
And I think, one point that I want to make about when people that wear fur, it's to set this status.
One point that I want to make is that
Makes me disgusted on the inside. They walk around because they want to show people that they think they're better than everybody else. But we have to question. It's like, why else would a billion-dollar industry want people to buy used products unless it profited somehow from it? So what they're trying to do is get this trend back into public space and basically send a signal of, well, vintage this, vintage that. And it's like, well, we first of all don't know if it's vintage or not. And second of all, vintage fur is not okay because you're still promoting violence towards animals.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about the history of the mob wife trend.
okay.
So going back just with fur in general, we know people have been killing animals for their fur, for their skins for thousands of years. It was survival at one point.
Right.
And over the years, exotic furs and skins were a symbol of status. It's horrible, and a lot of kings and people with power would hunt, and it's just.
I don't know why people in general, in certain mindsets, think that when you hurt, harm, instill fear, that's a power status. So that's where it all comes from.
It makes you a weak, insecure dweeb, if you ask me.
You're like, first of all, you're scary, and also
Second
you
of
got
all-
problems.
Yeah,
Those in the corner, we need to lock your ass up.
Third of all, you're a fur dork. So the cinema is what really gave the mob wife its name. We can go back into The Godfather. Everybody knows The Godfather. I mean, it's a classic movie. And Connie, she was a mob wife. And she was a character that showed status and wealth and power and beauty. And you got, Scarface was another. Scarface was another movie. So Elvira Hancock, she's another mob wife. And then, of course, The Sopranos. Who doesn't love and adore Carmela Soprano, Edie Falco, who's, by the way, she's vegan. So she doesn't actually wear real fur. But what the cinema did was it portrayed these women as powerful, wealthy, sophisticated. They portrayed this life as glamorous and luxurious when really, I mean, mob wives it's not exactly what it seemed.
Right.
So a lot of these women, their husbands were out doing crime, and they just kind of would try to ignore and just say, well, my husband's out doing business. I don't know what else to tell you. And they were like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Thank you. That was my portrayal of mob wife.
That's good.
I hope I did it justice. But these wives, a lot of the time, were mistreated.
Yeah.
There was a lot of misogyny involved. And I don't know if this is something we should be glamorizing.
No, it kind of goes back to the fur industry. It's violence.
Yeah.
Violence, wearing violence, having violence, wearing violence.
Is this your new catchphrase?
Violence, violence, violence. We want none of that. We don't want to hear it. We don't want to see it. We don't want you to wear it.
Yeah, and you're not a mob wife. Your name is Sally Joe, and you live in Bushwick.
You keep saying Sally Joe.
It's just what comes to mind. It's true. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, listen, wear what you want to wear, but leave animals out of it. There's great
Right.
brands that are vegan and cruelty free and that will give you that same look. And honestly, I think that the industry has improved over the years. You
They
know,
have.
some people will say, oh, well, if it gets wet, it then gets ruined. It doesn't look the same. And trust me, there's a lot of great brands that you cannot tell the difference. And honestly, that's what scares me about wearing a vegan fur coat.
Why?
Because I'm afraid that it's going to send the message that it's real
Yeah.
and that it's okay. But then I guess you could say the same thing about like pleather shoes. Like they
Right.
look the same.
But fur is different. I feel like fur,
Is it?
in the sense of like the statement that's out there, I think people understand that there are a lot more pleather alternatives
Okay.
than there are fur alternatives, especially if it's like a really nice faux coat. Personally, I don't like the trend. I don't think it's sexy. I don't think it's cool. You just like look like a not saying anything mean, but you just look like a big hairball.
You look like you walked out of the Natural History Museum. But yeah, I mean, I agree.
I
And
wouldn't wear.
I think, you know, it is a beautiful thing that we can offer those alternatives for those that want to wear it. But I almost feel like, yeah, if I wear a faux fur coat, that I would have to put some sort of pin on the jacket to be like,
That's kind of
this,
cool.
this is not fur. Yeah.
Yeah, that could be kind of cool.